Footprints of Peace didn't start as an idea. It started as a strategic signal of resonance with intent. A gathering, a moment, a spark. In Miami during Art Week at Bit Basel, where we voted art to the moon. And then globally, we hosted the first ever World Space Party in Uganda in alignment with Rotary Club in Kinoni. During the April Cosmoplex, we brought you the Hemp Symposium, where infrastructure meets innovation, and Earth and Water Day, where purpose meets action, connecting communities across continents through one shared vision. Collectively, tens of millions reached, millions engaged, and we've only just begun. System transition. Because this is not a single event, it's a system. A global activation framework designed to connect culture, science, policy, and humanity into one unified movement. We continue the momentum with a celebration of the 250th anniversary of the United States in Philadelphia with our event. The next 250 years aligned with the World FIFA game on July 4th. Join us and punch a bag, kick a ball and take a breath. Then with How To Positive, we are in Mongolia, COP17, August 17th through the 28th, where climate meets the land, where conversations become action. Then the world anchors Times Square, New York City, International Peace Week, September Cosmoplex, live in Times Square from the 18th through the 22nd, and then activating the world synchronized Global Day of Dance on September 23rd. This is the global stage, where visibility becomes participation, and participation becomes movement, growth, expansion. From there we expand, farm aid, real music, real agriculture, real impact, Paris, science in the city, international policy, patience, innovation. Then we synchronize across continents, across cultures. The month of October unites the world and beyond, starting with Puerto Rico Space Week in coordination with the Caribbean Spaceport Alliance. Origins, a global synchronized event anchored in South Africa and expanded across the world. One moment, one planet, one origin. Then the 13th annual Catskills Halloween Festival and Oddities Market in New York, an experience unlike any other. We close the year with the return at Miami Art Week with Bit Basel and other activations. Where culture meets capital again. Then we converge. April 2027 Cosmoplex, or 419 Bicycle Day, 420 Cannabis Day, 421 Hemp Day featuring Hemp, 422 Earth Water Day returns. Global synchronized activations, finishing with the legacy events across New York City on May 1st. Cannabis Parade, the Million Mushroom March. This isn't just a campaign, it's a blueprint. Footprints of peace. One movement, one world, one future.
Change doesn't wait. Why should you? Welcome to the Gaia Guild, Global Action Impact Awareness. At GaiaGuild.com, thousands are coming together. Creators, innovators, changemakers, building a future that matters. Your membership unlocks events, classes, and connections that spark action. And explore the G3 collection and exclusive guild merch at GaiaGuild.shop. This isn't just talk, it's movement and action. Gaia Guild. Join today. Become a guilder.
Hey, CannaBama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
in studio, which is pretty rare, and we like to hear what he has to say on everything because he's a pretty smart guy.
Do you really want to hear what I have to say?
As long as you don't curse.
Everything. No, we're not. Well, we're on the internet, but we're also on the radio.
Yes, we're on the radio first.
I respect your responsibility.
The Federal Communications Commission wants us to not do that.
They got me one time. So.
Well, I got booted off of live for 2 years because I had a guest say the F word. And, everybody's used to doing podcasts and they talk however they want to and they do whatever they want to. And he lost himself for a moment and said it. And we didn't get in trouble from the FCC, but just the threat of it. Yeah, they made me pre-record for 2 years. And I finally, with tears, was like, we got to go back live.
Right.
Anyway, yes, we are on FMTalk 106.5. This is Sweet Home CannaBama Radio. And you can also watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, and LinkedIn. If you are watching, hit that share button, subscribe, and support the show. We would love to be able to expand our reach and continue educating the people of Alabama, as well as the people of the United States. We have listeners from lots of different states. And so we never want to forget that we're not just a regional or a local show. We are a national show, and we've even had international guests.
Hey.
So we're here to preach the good news of the hemp and cannabis plants and what they can do for humanity. So that's what we're going to do. Want to thank our sponsors, Cloud9 Vapes in Daphne, Sims, and 2 locations in Mobile on Airport Boulevard, just down the street from the studio here, and Rangeline Road in Tillman's Corner. Y'all, there's very, very few places in this state that you can buy hemp products. And Cloud9 has 4 locations in Mobile and Baldwin. I don't believe there's anybody else besides Healthy Harvest, our good friend Ocean Jones, who has a license. But other than people that might have drinks, I don't know that anybody else in this area is licensed. And speaking of Ocean, they actually just today, June 1st, got their license for their Gardendale store in the Birmingham area.
Oh, wow.
A full 6 months after they were supposed to have one available to us and didn't. So, man, I don't even want to know the loss because I know what I've lost, just not being able to be in business. And these guys have held on and held on and held on. So if you're in the Birmingham area listening, go support Healthy Harvest CBD up there. Can't get a better person that owns a business. Ocean, I actually helped Ocean when he opened his first shop in Gardendale. And so I like to think I helped, I helped mold him a little bit. And he's like a little brother to me now. I love him to death.
Easy.
When I walk into his shop, he goes, "What's up, legend?" And I'm like, oh, my God.
Made you feel good.
Oh, man. You can see I'm blushing already.
Right.
Anyway, but go see Cloud9. Tell them we sent you, and you will get a 10% discount on hemp products. And thank you so much to Cordell Harris and his brother and their crew at Cloud9 for supporting the show. Current events. There's a lot going on. I mean, you are here because of a current event, and we're going to get to that because that's the meat of the show tonight. We're going to talk about that. But first, we want to go through get some house cleaning done.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So first, we have an arrest in Limestone County. Edward Joseph Taylor was pulled over for DUI. He was charged with DUI, possession of marijuana, and possession of hemp-derived products, and possession of paraphernalia. I don't know what all those other things add up to, but the hemp one, I think, is probably the worst charge as far as time in jail, right? Depending on the quantity of marijuana.
No, I mean, it just says possession of marijuana. So
it's not trafficking.
It's not a first degree. That'd be a felony. So possession of hemp derived or THC related products.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wait a minute.
We don't know what those products are.
Well, there's nothing illegal about hemp derived THC products. You can go buy gummies right now that are hemp derived THC products that are not illegal.
Right.
So I don't know what gave them the right to seize them. I don't believe they don't have a right to do that. But beyond that, I don't know. Yeah. I'm assuming that it's going to be hemp flower and that they're going to try to go for the smoking angle, which would be.
Well, my first question, and this is kind of relative to your situation later, is
no, wait a minute.
Which part of that was marijuana and which part of it was hemp if we're talking about flower? Do they know?
Right. And
well, again,
truthfully, none of them probably know at that point in time. And that's why this is such a sticky wicket for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But it shouldn't be.
Right.
That's the point.
Right.
It should not be this big of an issue. Everyone should understand, geez, 8 years after the 2018 Farm Bill, negotiated during 16 and 17, passed in 18,
Mm-hmm.
that we're still having this educational issue. I mean, of law enforcement agencies and state agencies that don't even understand what their own state has authorized. And so,
well, I mean, let's face it, though. I mean, the ones of us who had everything to lose, who fought these bills, who were directly affected by them, we still don't fully. A lot of us are struggling because of all of the after effects of the rules and regs with ABC. Everything, is it vape okay or is it not? It wasn't in the bill, but they wanted to put it in the regs. Like, it's constantly changing, and the ABC board never has a consistent answer.
Well, the one thing that isn't changing, though, is the law, right?
Right.
And so I would encourage everyone to go to the Alabama Industrial Hemp Research Program, codified at state in the state code, print it out, read it, especially the paragraphs. I mean, the definitional paragraph sections, if nothing else. And then also HB 445, the consumable hemp bill. Print that out and read the law. And read the words. Like you have pointed out to me so many times. I'll come and see you and you've got something else highlighted in yellow, and it's 7 or 8 words, but those 7 or 8 words change everything. Well, and they do. And reading it and understanding it, it's black and white. Right. It's black and what we call black letter law. It is written in stone. And if you understand the law and what the meanings or the implications of within the language and the law, then you can operate within it and live. And that's what I've been doing ever since July of last year. And so, yeah, I think that people need to really, first and foremost, read the law. Quit reading the newspaper, quit reading the internet, quit talking to other people. Read the law, because that's, God gave me so much insight into this law. The more I read it, the more that was revealed. Right. Because for me, it's a bigger reach than just this. For me, it's the Genesis issue. Right. Genesis 1:29. But the more I read it, the more I understood, and the more it made sense. Right. And so I encourage everyone to do that. And then, we can obviously explain it later on, or different parts of it. Right. Or either the research program or the consumable bill. But understanding what the legislature said you can and can't do, there's where you lie within the safe space. Right. I think a lot of people assume that when a new law is passed, that law enforcement knows exactly everything about it. They understand it, the ramifications, what's involved. They don't. You would think, right? You would think. And I will say, for the most part, they do. But Jennifer, honestly, this has been one of the biggest hoaxes in American history for the last 100 years. Yeah. And it is extremely difficult to get good law enforcement officers who take their job seriously. They've been lied to. They've been told that this is, addictive. Well, the cat's out of the bag, guys. The federal government said not anymore. We're going to reschedule it to 3. It's not highly addictive. It does have medicinal value. You can't keep running around telling that lie anymore. Right. 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 And then so it's almost as if they're pissed off that they don't get to do things. Well, and that's, to me, is the contradiction with rescheduling, but only applying it to medical, because the plant is the plant is the plant. THC is THC. I don't care what it came There's out no of. Way that buying it without a prescription means it's highly addictive and has no value, when the exact same plant's being sold, with all these other things you have to pay, but it's medicine, Well, it's again, it's a charade. One step at a time, right? Right. Let's get beyond this hurdle. Then we'll go to the one plant, one policy. That's right. Really want to get educated. When we come back, more with John Fisher. Stay with us.
Bama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough. But if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now with all the information you want about CBD, here's your host, Jennifer Booser.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with John Fisher, who is an attorney here in Fairhope, and we're talking laws. You know, we talked earlier about another arrest for hemp products. I wanted to mention that of the 3 arrests that I have heard about, 2 of them have been in Limestone County, and isn't that way up north?
Yeah, it is.
Close to the other states that do sell? Yeah, okay, yeah. That's what I thought.
Right.
That's probably what happened here. So let's talk about federal stuff. You know, the Farm Bill, it expired in 2023, and they haven't been able to pass one. This continuing resolution happened in November. I know everybody's tired of me beating this dead horse, but I'm just trying to catch you up in case you don't know. Which includes language, knowing everybody would vote for it because everybody wanted the government to open back up, but it included language that would basically wipe out all products, including potential THC, which includes the seeds. If you got no seeds, you can't grow cannabis in any form without seeds. So there's been a lot of work with different organizations trying to get an extension on this ban because it goes into effect November 12th. And the Farm Bill hopefully will be passed this year. But, again, 99 billion out of 100 and something billion is SNAP benefits. It's the majority of this Farm Bill is all about SNAP benefits, which has nothing to do with us. I think it's probably time for us to have our own legislation and not be just slipped into other big old omni bills.
That's Washington. Good luck with
nobody asks me. So this past week, I think May 28th was the deadline to file amendments to the Farm Bill. And so we've got 3 new amendments, all sponsored by Republicans in the House. So I want to break down those really quickly and go through those. The first one is Representative Andy Barr, who just got didn't get reelected in Kentucky. This is who we hope is replacing Mitch McConnell. I sat in on a Zoom. I sit in a Zoom every week with the Hemp Industry and Farmers of America organization. And this week they had Ted Cruz on the call. And he's a pretty high up guy in the Senate. So he was saying basically Mitch McConnell is the main hurdle.
Mitch is no longer
lovely old meat bag of a man.
Right. Yep.
Ooh, yeah, who can barely walk, barely speak, and freezes up on camera and looks like maybe somebody's animated his wax body. I don't know.
I mean, he's term limits.
He should have termed out about 2-3 terms ago.
Well, I mean, it's sad, but we don't want to get off.
It is. So
Biden and him, all of them, they're too old.
They are. They really, really are. So Representative Andy Barr has an amendment that would raise the legal THC limit for hemp from 0.3% to 1% and change how the THC is tested. Right now, it's 0.3%. They want it to go
to that's 0.3% Delta 9 THC. They want to change, or they have changed it to 0.3% total THC. That means THCA, THCV, Delta 8, Delta 2, all the different types of THCs, because there are many in combination, which basically means no plant exists on the planet that would produce that little total THC. So this is mainly about farmers not having to burn their crops. I mean, I've not met a farmer that hasn't had to burn at least some of their crops.
Yeah, in many respects, because of the sensitive nature from, if people don't understand farming and growing, especially cannabis, there's not much between 0.3% and above.
Right. Well, like if you had a hemp field that was ready to harvest right now on Saturday, and after the last 2 really hot days, now it's over the limit because it was super hot and it decarboxylated the plants, and now you got to burn all your crops.
Yep.
And how does that make any sense? So basically, this would change that threshold to 1% or less, which is more than 3 times the limit. But it would require the testing be on finished goods, not the plants in the field. Because once you take those compliant plants out of the field and make crude, which is the first building block of an extraction, it's this thick, like molasses,
oil,
black, gunky, and it's rich with all of those chemical compounds. That stuff is way hot. They take it and they dilute it, and they add medium chain triglyceride, fat to it, oil, coconut oil, hemp seed oil, olive oil, and things to make tinctures and products, all that stuff. So that this new regulation from November would make all of that illegal. So this would preserve that process of planting it as long as it doesn't go over the 1%. And the crude in the process of being extracted into a finished good. And as long as the finished good, that's what the consumer is getting, stays within those parameters, then what's the problem?
There shouldn't.
Yeah, the product liability isn't nearly as bad as the crop liability, and good luck getting insurance.
Oh, yeah, you can't get crop insurance, not on this.
Not any more than you can get the products insured.
Well, until people start recognizing that hemp is an agricultural commodity and it's not a controlled substance,
right?
Which is defined by both the state of Alabama and the federal government. That's what people don't understand and they don't know.
Right.
When we really begin to settle into the concept of what that's supposed to do and mean, then maybe they'll leave 1% Delta 9. Come on.
Right. Even 1% is,
it's barely nothing.
Negligible.
And the other guys got up to 99%, right? So it's
right.
Like, leave us.
Well, yeah, the other guys can have 100% THC, and that's in the finished goods though, because there aren't any plants that exist. You can't have 489 chemicals in a plant and one of them be 100% of the plants, or even 30% of the plant. And that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, I was going to say, even in cannabis, even in medical marijuana, you're lucky to get 35.
And that's really, really, there's a lot of people that go, but is it,
Exactly.
Because it's just not, I know that the breeding of the plants and the genetic engineering, splicing 2 strong ones together to get an even stronger one, they did that with broccoli. They made broccoli out of thin air from cauliflower and something else. It happens.
But at the end of the day, the COA is going to issue the content, and it's always
right.
There's nothing above 50%.
Right. Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, this would be great. This amendment I'm a big fan of because it takes the pressure off the farmers. It gives the farmers much more leeway. You're tripling their safety net to not have to burn, right. Which means their risk goes down exponentially. And maybe they could qualify as an agricultural commodity for crop insurance, and for banking and all these other things. And then, of course, there's the argument of not testing the THC at all if it's being grown for industrial applications, because like if you're growing it for microgreens, the plants will never flower. You want those tiny little leaves and that's it.
Right.
So why does that fall under the same thing? And we've got a long way to go. So that is Representative Andy Barr from Kentucky. That's his amendment. The second one is Representative Russell Fry. He's a Republican from South Carolina. And his amendment is strictly to delay the ban for 2 years.
Kick the can down the road.
Right. Instead of it being 12 months to change it to 36 months. And that's all it does. It just kicks it down the road, and that's it. Everything in the 2018 Farm Bill would stay the same.
And you know what? I'm fine with that for the time being.
I
That's
mean,
all we got.
it's way better than what we're facing down.
Right. That's right.
You know, there's no immediate federal shutdown of any of these things, and they get people get a 2-year time frame to either bow out gracefully or adapt.
No, what we got is a 2-year time frame to allow the federal government to get their crap together to then finally address this issue.
Right. No, I agree. It needs to be addressed now.
That's what this is about.
Right. I mean, we know enough. You know, that's one of the things Martin said. Absolutely. We know enough about the farming. We know enough about the extraction. We know enough about what it does for people and the demand for it. We know now there's a new Pew poll that says 88% of the country wants full legalization. Like, leave it alone. Let people let them have it.
Right.
That's not a small number.
No, 88% of any poll.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
We know that that's not overblown, because in Mississippi, we know that 74% of the voters in Mississippi approved medical cannabis when they let them vote. So if 74% in Mississippi, then, you know, that doesn't include any liberal counties or states involved that are all for it. You know, right. If 74% of people in Mississippi approve, then 88% nationwide is not a stretch at all. And then the third amendment is from Representative James Comer, who's also from Kentucky. And he basically wants to defund the federal government's ability to enforce this ban. And his simply states that none of the funds, now this is in the continuing resolution appropriations bill that redefined hemp. It just simply says none of the funds made available by this act may be used to implement Section 781, which is that section that redefines hemp in the appropriations package that Trump signed. And that is the enforcement mechanism involved with intoxicating hemp. The ban. So by blocking funding, the amendments halt federal enforcement, even if the ban remains written into law. I mean, it's against the law, but we can't afford to arrest you. I mean,
it's politics.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't sound very safe to me.
No, it's power, money, and influence. You know this. It all goes back to who's writing the checks, right?
Well, and I guess the big problem that I see is this is like splitting the vote. These guys are all Republicans. They're all influential, and they're all trying to do something good, but they're vastly different. And so what are these other guys that are on the fence or opposed? What are we aiming for? It's another representation of not having the same message across, just like with us in Alabama last year. We had 3 or 4 organizations asking for various different things, and nobody wanted to work together. And so they didn't even understand not only the plant and the law, but what we were asking for.
Well, trust me, there's a more organized effort in D.C. going on behind the doors that are closed.
Oh, yeah.
These guys, they're just the ones that threw out the roadblocks.
Yeah.
But I promise you, in conference, there's a lot of really pointed conversations.
Yeah.
Because what you're going to find is, as the old guys get out, we move in, and
there you go.
We know better.
Generation X is coming, y'all. We'll be right back with John Fisher.
FMTalk 1065 and Dr. Bill Williams.
The Gulf Coast can expect a few evening showers tonight. Low temperatures will be in the mid-70s at daybreak. For Tuesday, mostly sunny and humid with mainly afternoon showers and thunderstorms, highs in the lower 90s. And the outlook for Wednesday, partly cloudy and cooler with a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm and highs in the lower 80s. This is meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams for FM Talk 1065.
I'm Roseanne Haven from WKRG News 5. Construction officially started today on the City of Mobile's new $6.3 million animal shelter. Crews began tearing down 2 warehouses at what used to be the old Trinity Broadcasting Network on the West I-65 service road, making room for outdoor play yards. The new facility will provide more space, medical services, and a better experience for both animals and potential adopters. A crash victim has been identified and the driver accused of killing him arrested. 20-year-old Luis Lopez is accused of speeding down Highway 90 in Tillman's Corner yesterday morning, crashing into 55-year-old Anthony Licalzi, who died on the scene. For now, Lopez is charged with manslaughter while investigators work to determine if alcohol was a factor. I'm Roseanne Haven from WKRG News 5. Local coverage you can count on.
Hey, CannaBama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now with all the information you want about CBD, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Sweet Home CannaBama Radio every Monday night, right here on FMTalk 106.5 at 7 o'clock. And you might be watching live from YouTube or social media, so share this, hit the subscribe button, and support your girl. Because we hanging on by a thread some days, huh? Again, thank you to Cloud9 Babes for helping us hold this show together.
Every day. Right?
Okay, so John, let's get into this. Now, you were here several weeks ago, about 2 months ago, and we talked about what you were going into court for with this case on behalf of Trey Stinson and Foley, and the seizure of, was it 24 pounds?
It was a little over 20 pounds of hemp and close to $75,000 in total.
Right. And
cash, not
right
product.
And this is the second time you have gone into this same courtroom, same judge, same DA, on behalf of someone whose business was raided, whose property was taken, whose money was taken, whose assets were taken. And you won last year. This time last year, you won that case, and they dropped 19 felony counts?
Well, let me just say it. To me, it's justice prevails.
Absolutely.
Right? I don't win. I don't lose. My job is to simply expose the truth.
And that is what you are doing for sure.
Right.
And then, like I said, when you show me something with some yellow highlighter, I know it's going to be game-changing stuff, because you just have a gift. I know you know the law like the back of your hand. You've lived it for your entire adult life, and you've been in this atmosphere. You've been in these situations your whole life, and you're very good at it. But also because you love this plant and you know its healing powers, and you've worked with people with the plant, it's a different level of commitment from you that I appreciate. And, when a lot of people don't have the, can I say balls?
Well,
don't have the balls.
Testicular fortitude.
There you go. The testicular fortitude to really go after this situation. You barrel in. Like we were laughing before. I said, the one person I would never want to have to face down against in court is you.
Well,
because you are formidable, but it's because you know that you know that you know what you know.
And Jen, I'm going to be honest as I can be without getting too personal, but for me, I mean, this, it goes back to Genesis 1:29, and people don't understand that, and they need to get their head around it.
They do.
But it's not just, it's a much bigger picture. I moved to Hawaii for 5 years. And while I was there, God rewrote a lot of my understanding of him and me and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived in a place where they were Polynesian in culture, not Western, not American, not white, not black,
right?
Polynesian. And I had I had a lot of education that went on in there.
Right.
But in that process, though, I had a medical marijuana card for a knee replacement issued by a doctor, and that changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer drink alcohol. I no longer take pills for anything.
Right.
Right. And my life is better. My wife's life, my family, anyone that knows me's life is better for that. So fast forward 5 years, I come home and Alabama says, oh, no. Now, you're going to have to go back to the alcohol and pill plan.
Right.
Because we're not going to let you have the plant plan.
Right.
And so one day I was really lamenting. I moved home and it's like, God, what am I supposed to do? Honestly, I don't want to break the law, Father, but I don't, and I'll get emotional. I don't want to be
that person
on pills and alcohol again. I don't.
I understand that.
And that's a really hard realization to get to, is like, what am I going to do? I mean, here I am, I'm 50 something years old. Do I have to start buying weed on the street in $20 sacks?
Right.
Because, Alabama is backwards.
It is.
But then God took me to Genesis 1:29, and the verse says, behold. Now when I say this is a quote of God, God said, quote, behold, I've given you every plant yielding seed on all the face of the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for your consumption. And when I read that, it hit me, but then the longer I read it, the more it hit me. I'm like, well, this is a plant that comes from a seed.
Right.
Right. And God said that I shall have it for my consumption.
Right.
So when I came back, I believe that when God gives an authoritative command, like thou shalt not murder, we take that seriously.
We do.
I mean, we even base anti-abortion arguments on thou shalt not murder.
Right.
The Alabama Supreme Court upheld religious rights in this state just 5 years ago over the vaccinations. You know exactly. You were personally impacted by it, right?
That's right. My children never got one because of that religious exemption.
And so, we have to understand that if there is religion, then we have to live with what we declare to be our religion.
Mm-hmm.
And when I open the Bible, the Judeo-Christian, I read the Ethiopian Bible with 88 books. Most people read the Judeo-Christian Bible with 66. But even in that 66 books where you find thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, you also find that same directive.
Right.
How can any modern day Christian that believes the Bible tell me this is not my divinely granted right?
Yeah.
And so I know that in my heart of heart, God knew every day. He knew we were going to have bad days. He knew we were going to get hurt, lied to, cheated on. He knew all of that. But rather than give us pills and alcohol, God said, I'm going to give you some plants, guys.
Yep.
And I'm going to give you grace. I call it grace, so that you don't have to go down the road of destruction.
Yeah.
Just to feel better, just to feel
normal.
Yeah.
For me, it's about normal.
And so for me, I came back from Hawaii. Faith-wise, I came back a much different person. People, they had no idea. But beyond that, this is what Genesis 1:29, and then the fact that now I'm faced with, what do I do, right? Before I could smoke hemp flower.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's illegal. You can't smoke hemp flower. They went in and they changed laws and they did things. And so for me, at some point, the government's going to have to address my religious belief.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not doing that right at this present moment, but I know that pretty soon, because the United States Supreme Court has already ruled that you can't question what I declare to be a deeply held religious belief.
Right.
Especially if I can open the Judeo-Christian Bible and point to a verse.
Right.
Who can argue that I don't believe that?
Right. Exactly.
And so that day is coming. But beyond that, for this in particular, you've got a situation still where you have hemp and marijuana, and they're no longer the same.
Right. And that was the crux of the complaint against Mr. Stinson, is every paragraph listing his sins was that they found something that they believed to be either hemp or marijuana, but they never said which.
Correct. I mean, and they use that phrase. The complaint had that phrase hemp or marijuana, comma, or hemp throughout it. But see, what that does is that tells me that the people that are preparing that document have not been properly educated by their boss that hemp and marijuana are not the same thing.
Not legally.
Hemp is an agricultural commodity in the state of Alabama. Alabama state law, Code of Alabama section 28-380 and 381 says hemp is not a controlled substance. It is an agricultural product, and it is no longer to be defined within the word marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the Farm Bill, like you mentioned, the 18 Farm Bill, the federal government said, look, hemp is good. We can make biofuels out of it. We can make fabrics. We can pulp wood. We can do paper.
Yep.
You know, they wanted to stimulate the research in that industry.
Right.
So they said, moving forward, hemp is going to be less than 0.3%, and it's a farm product. It's an agricultural product. Marijuana will continue to be the controlled substance because it has the most. And that's the dividing line the federal government created. It's the dividing line that the state of Alabama created when they adopted the federal government's language, when they created the Alabama Industrial Hemp Research Program at 28380. But it seems like the rest of the state doesn't understand what that meant.
Right.
And so in that industrial hemp program in Alabama, it says that only the Alabama Department of Agriculture and Industry can do anything as far as regulatory or enforcement matters relating to hemp.
Right.
They gave them exclusive authority. Well, why? What does that look like? Well, it looks just like ABC and alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
In the state of Alabama, the legislature gave the ABC board authority, full authority. So how does that play out in the local community? Police officers cannot go into a liquor store or a convenience store and do anything about the alcohol that's in those cabinets. If somebody sells to a minor, that's an ABC issue.
Right.
Okay.
Their directive has to come first from ABC, which means either they or someone else
ABC
sees
is
a kid getting served. They have to report that to ABC, and ABC has to give them a written directive, right?
If you were to call the Mobile Police Department tomorrow and say that at such and such gas station, they sold my 12-year-old a 6-pack of beer, the police can do nothing. They would have to go issue something with ABC. That is an
basically
ABC,
asking their permission to intervene.
Right. It's a licensing regulatory, because when you sign up for the alcohol license, you agree you'll follow the law, which is I can't sell to people underage.
Right.
You
and
know,
the only organization that can take that license is the
ABC.
regulatory board.
That's right.
The ABC or the Ag Department.
And the reason that is because when the legislature created the law, that's what they said.
Right.
That authority is reserved to the ABC. Well, guess what? They said the same thing when they created the Alabama Industrial Hemp Program.
Right.
They said, moving forward, only the Alabama Department of Agriculture and Industry they are the only agency that can bring any kind of action, regulatory or enforcement relating to hemp within the state of Alabama.
Right.
So then you have to ask the question, how has any law enforcement officer been able to pick up any bag of hemp and bring any kind of criminal or otherwise complaint when they don't have the legal authority to do so?
Right.
They're treating it like it's marijuana, and they cannot keep doing that.
Right. Especially when, like Mr. Stinson, he had that plant material, but he had COAs
Yes.
that said that they were hemp and not marijuana. He had COA, certificates of analysis, that said this is a hemp product, a commodity, not marijuana, and that should have been enough to satisfy them.
That along with the other signage and the things in there should have been,
right,
but they weren't. And
yeah.
I know we're coming up on a break, but I think you mentioned those COAs, the certificates of analysis. I think that's something important that maybe after the break.
Yeah, we'll start with that after the break when we come back, because definitely, I mean, like you've said, when you buy something, when a retailer buys something from a wholesaler and it comes with all the markings of a legitimate product, then the it is what it is. Like the Snickers bar in that box, you assume in those little wrappers, it's all chocolate, nougat, peanuts, and caramel.
Well, Piggly Wiggly,
until you figure out it's not, you know.
Piggly Wiggly gets a COA with every case of hemp drinks they buy.
I bet
no
they
different
do.
than Mr. Stinson.
When we come back for the break, we're going to finish up with John Fisher.
Hey, CannaBama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay, with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
Every moment counts if you're at risk or living with lung cancer. And anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. It causes more cancer deaths than breast, colon, and prostate combined. It can feel like a race against time. And while there may be moments where you question your next step, it's essential to know that you don't have to confront lung cancer alone. Through it all, Go-To for Lung Cancer is here for you. From screening, treatment, and survivorship support to finding the right care close to home, we are your community. As your friends, your guides, your teachers, your advocates, and your support system, Go-To is your go-to. Confronting lung cancer starts here. Visit goto.org today.
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now, with all the information you want about CBD, here's your host, Jennifer Booser.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with John Fisher. We are talking about this seizure case in Foley, and you went back.
When you
to
say
court.
seizure case, I just see like someone lying on the floor in a medical condition. Can you at least...
Property seizure, whatever you want. I don't know. I'm the non-lawyer here. I'm just trying to make it sound good. So we were talking about COAs and how important those are. We're required by law to have them. Even before that, most of us had them. You know, my husband told me, be careful when I say that doesn't happen, because some people it does happen. And I don't think, and if I've ever said that does not happen, I didn't mean it that way. So let me say that first. There are outliers. There are people that will do anything, to get away with stuff. But on the whole, all the people that I know, that I work with, that are willing to get off their butts and fight, they had COAs.
Blah, blah, blah.
They had COAs. I had
All
COAs.
right.
So anyway, COAs are very important. Tell us what the judge said. You went back to court to clarify, because the hemp or marijuana, you filed something for clarity.
Right. So in a lawsuit, you file a complaint, it gets served, and typically you answer within the time frame. But some complaints, if you read it and you really don't understand what they are actually complaining of, or you're looking for, well, I'm not sure how to respond because I'm not sure why this is even a lawsuit.
Right.
So you can file you can file a motion to dismiss at that point, or a motion for more definite statement, which I filed both. And we had a hearing on it. And I want to say, I was really happy with Judge Stankowski. I believe he's a good judge, smart man. And you could tell he really, and when I say this sounds so crazy that I'm even saying it. I'm almost not wanting to say it because of how stupid it sounds.
What?
But when I say he really put in the effort.
Well, right. It's a lot of information. It is.
Yeah, but you would think, but the whole reason we've got here is because so many haven't put in the effort. So,
right.
I mean, I really
we need to brag on this judge.
I do. I mean, I appreciate his effort in understanding, because you're right. I tried a case in his courtroom, a jury trial last May, of another store owner who was charged with 3 counts of distribution and 2 counts of possession based on hemp store, and they bought $40 worth of hemp 3 times from his store.
And that was before HB 445 was passed.
Correct.
This case happened in January
of this
after
year. Mhm.
the full extent of the law went into effect.
Right. And so, we tried it to a jury trial. And at the end of the trial, the jury said they understood. Hemp is hemp, and
right.
And so that kind of laid the groundwork. And I appreciate Judge Stankowski because I know he remembers that. But then he did. He read everything, and I appreciate, like I said, what he put into it. But, in this particular instance, hemp is by state law defined as a farm product.
Right.
And marijuana is a controlled substance.
Right.
And they said that they found either that or that, which meant they didn't know whether it was illegal or not illegal.
Right.
And then they went on to just say that my client had committed controlled substance crimes. Well, there were no controlled substances. How can you commit a crime when there are no controlled substances? So I filed that because I was struggling from what I know.
Right.
How do I respond to this?
Right.
And
because if they had said they found hemp, you could laugh in their face.
Right.
But if they tried to say it was strictly marijuana, then you got a fight on your hands to prove that it's not.
No. Well, and what I pointed out to the judges, all this began at a UPS random interdiction where a dog hit on a package. Well, right then and there, that tells me you have no evidence my client ever bought or sold marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have an investigation. There have been no complaints about him buying or selling. This is not a marijuana case. This is a dog hit on a package. You opened it up, and as you put in your complaint, you found a green leafy substance that you believe to be either marijuana or hemp.
Right.
And that's how the whole thing went. And so, I at the hearing, I was able to, again, point out that within the state of Alabama, according to the Alabama Industrial Hemp Research Program, hemp is not a controlled substance. It's a farm product. It's an agricultural commodity, and it is not considered marijuana. It is no longer within that definition.
It's also not considered a consumable hemp product within the definition of HB 445, right?
Correct.
Eat it, drink it, rub it on your skin or hair.
Correct, because you're right. The only thing, and see, this is another thing. HB 445 did not do anything except create a consumable category, and they define that as, like you said, anything you eat, drink, or topically apply to skin or hair. And then they also came in behind that with the smokable.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be marketed as a smokable type product, right?
Right.
And then they went into the synthetics, but they excluded from synthetics natural decarboxylation.
Right.
So that didn't change really the definition of hemp or what hemp is or what hemp does.
Yeah.
It just said if you're going to eat, drink, or put it on your skin or hair, you got to get it from a licensed store.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But then in the bill, it even says that everything in Alabama relating to hemp that is not specifically in HB 445 is reserved exclusively back to ag and industry, meaning no one else has the authority to touch hemp in Alabama. ABC, only if you're using a consumable product. Beyond that, even ABC can't touch flower, if you will, raw hemp plant in Alabama.
Right. As long as it meets that threshold.
And so for me, one of the big things, Jennifer, was reminding, and this goes for everybody, the science behind the plant is once you harvest it and it's been tested and declared to be hemp by that COA, once it's hemp, it's always hemp.
Right.
Hemp, once is hemp, it's always hemp. It doesn't, now we've talked about that 0.3 of 1%.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if it gets hot and that 0.3 goes to 2.3?
Right.
Okay. Then what happens? Well, what the state's been doing is they've been considering that marijuana.
Right.
It can't be, because the state has already said in the code at 28381, it says that hemp is no longer defined as marijuana.
Right.
So it's just a farm product. Hemp is an agricultural commodity. If that level rises above the federal level, then it's like it's like spoiled milk.
Yeah. So tell us before we run out of time. What did the judge say?
Well, the judge he had some really pointed questions, and he took it under advisement. Didn't really say a whole lot, to be honest with you. What I do recall is that the judge was interested in hearing whether the state was willing to admit on the record that they filed the complaint and really couldn't say whether they knew it was hemp or marijuana.
Right.
And I think that it was irritating to the judge because I think he at this point believes, like, or at least I would think, that the state should know that.
Right.
Right. And what the significance
especially
of either
spending
is.
resources and money and time and, in the courtroom, in the police station and, tearing up this man's life.
Oh, and no doubt. And
which leaves them open to lawsuits.
Right. And which is about to be filed. But then the one question that I really respected the judge asking was, and this is, anyway, he asked, is it possible to legally possess hemp within the state of Alabama?
Mm-hmm.
And the state admitted that, yes, it was, under the right conditions.
Right.
And so when they admitted that you can legally possess it, then the question is, you didn't allege any illegal reasons that my guy was in possession of hemp.
Right.
And so I think that the overall sentiment I got was that there should have been better.
Well, I mean, he dismissed the case
with
this
prejudice.
Early on with prejudice,
right?
Which you said is pretty rare for it to get dismissed this early on, but to do it with prejudice means don't come back in my courtroom with this bull.
Right. Well, and that was, dismissing it with prejudice does mean that it can't be brought back, right?
Right.
And I do think that it's because of the nature of the problems with what they bring.
Right.
Right. And so the judge understands that if you have a certificate of analysis that says it's hemp, then it's always going to be hemp.
Right.
And that's an agricultural issue reserved only to ag and industry, not law enforcement.
Right. Right.
So,
yeah. And if you're selling it, then it needs to have the right language on the labeling.
Oh,
it
yeah.
needs to have a COA.
Don't go out there.
Yeah, it needs to clearly state that smokable is illegal in Alabama. It's not intended for consumption, not intended for
I wouldn't
for all
be saying
that.
any of that if I was you. Let them worry about what they need to say or not say on their own. Don't you?
Yeah.
No, Miss Boozer said if I said this.
No, I am not an attorney. This is not legal advice.
Yeah, get what you pay for.
You need to pay him if you want. If you have questions, and I highly recommend that the business owners that are still trying to navigate this call John and retain him. He's worth the money because obviously he's won this situation in one form or another twice, and nobody else in the state of Alabama can say that. So, as far as experts go, 2 isn't very many, but it's 2 more than anybody else.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, God was gracious enough to show me something and continues to show me something.
Yeah.
And I believe that it's my right, and if it's mine, it's anyone else's that needs it and feels that way.
I understand because God gave me the name CannaBama and told me what to do, and that's the only reason I'm still sitting here is because I believe as strongly as you do that this is my kingdom work, and I know that's how you feel.
I do, and it's not, I had an older retired Alabama Supreme Court justice who actually agrees and believes with everything I've said.
Mm-hmm.
He said that you're not going to be able to convince people that, church, you can smoke marijuana.
Right.
And I told him, I said, Judge, I respect your feelings, but what I'm telling you is I don't care what they do with it. God said I have the right to have access to it.
That's right. Thank you so much, John, for being here tonight. Thank you guys for being with us. Share this broadcast with everybody you know. God bless you, and God bless Alabama Hemp.
I was